Ben ritrovati lunedì mattina sul floor del New York Stock Exchange, settimana molto importante per gli operatori, secondo alcuni analisti davvero una settimana fondamentale che deciderà le sorti anche dell'intero anno. Ne parliamo con il mio ospite qui sul floor, come ogni lunedì è Kenny Polcari, Managing Director per ICAP Equities. Kenny, thank you so much for being with us again.
Buongiorno, come stai?
Benissimo, tu come stai?
Io sto bene, grazie.
So Kenny, it's going to be a very important week. According to some analysts, this week could also decide the direction of the market for the entire year. Is it too much, or you think it could be true?
No, I think it could definitely be true because really what they're really talking about is the headline news coming out of Europe. And is Mario Draghi, along with Mario Monti and François Hollande and Angela Merkel, are they going to come together and really shoot the bazooka that needs to be shot across the continent in order to bring this crisis under control? And so last week we got news out of on Wednesday afternoon from Mario Draghi that the ECB stood ready to do that. So the world and really the investment community is waiting on Thursday to see in fact what they say and what they're going to commit to the crisis, and is it in fact going to be everything that everyone thinks it is. We've had a major move in the market Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had a big move up in anticipation of this announcement. So now we're going to wait and see. So the market's going to kind of digest the move from last week. We see not a lot of action today, and that makes perfect sense. There's not a lot of macroeconomic news today, but the market is still waiting for any headline that comes across out of Europe.
And Garner, in Europe, what does it really tell you? I mean, the United States, of course, depends on Europe to recuperate. The administration future depend on that. What do you read in Garner's decision to go and speak to Germany?
Well, I think it's key, right, that all of a sudden they're sending Geithner over there on Friday afternoon. They make the announcement that he's going over there to meet with the ECB because clearly it is very important for the Democrats. It's very important for this country. Okay, away whether Democrat or Republican, it's very important for this country. But certainly in an election year that we're in, it's clearly very important for Obama and the Democrats to make sure that that Europe does all it can do because the world markets are so interconnected. You know, whether it's Asia, whether it's Europe, whether it's the United States, we're all so interconnected. So that it's very, very, very important that the administration, the U.S. administration, does everything it can to support what's going on in Europe and help them get through this crisis.
Now, going back instead to the Federal Reserve, of course, we know Thursday the ECB will decide, but the Federal Reserve on Wednesday might announce, according to some people, we're not going to hear any QE3. We might hear an extension, a promise until 2015 of rates on this level. What do you think the best scenario could be?
Well, listen, I think the best scenario would be for the Fed to come out and announce another QE program. I think a lot of people would love to hear that. I for one, would not want to hear that, right? I don't think we need another QE. I think we've got to let the market and the economy kind of find its way. Now, that being said, does the economy still need some support? Yes, but we already have that, right? The Fed has already extended Operation Twist until the end of the year. They're holding rates low through 2014. Now, could they announce that they're going to hold them low through 2015? They certainly could, but don't forget, just because they announce they're holding them low for 2015 doesn't mean that in the event the economy starts to heat up and turn around and things get better, that they can't, you know, down the road, 6 to 8 months, a year down the road, change the plan. In fact, that they could. If they extend rates out, all it's really going to do is keep rates really low, right? Try to force people out of that fixed income trade into the risk trade, which would be equities. I don't think though the market's going to go there because I think there's a lot of concern still, and a lot of it is going to depend on what happens on Thursday out of Europe. So I think we're going to see some cautiousness, but yet some nervousness until we get through Mario Draghi's comments.
And also on Friday, we will read some very important data that maybe also will be useful for the Federal Reserve in case they want to, decide in September what to do. According to some numbers that we saw, in particularly the Philly Fed, the numbers will not be good.
Right.
Now the consensus is for 100,000 new jobs created, but still problems.
Unemployment to remain at 8.2%. Listen, 100,000 jobs, it's not bad. It's a positive number. We keep moving forward. But 100,000 jobs is not going to fix the problem. We need an excess of 250,000 jobs in order to really make a dent and in order to bring this economy around, right? So it's going to be the makeup of these jobs on Friday, whatever they are. Say it's 100,000 jobs, but is it part-time workers? Is it construction workers? Is it high-paying skilled jobs? Is it low-paying, low-wage jobs? And so that's going to set the tone for what it really means. And so people are going to sit on edge and they're going to wait for that. You know, there are some people that are even assuming we're going to get a number as high as 150,000 jobs. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. And so I don't want to run away with that at all. But the real concern or the real discussion is going to be the types of jobs that are created.
And now tell me about numbers. Of course, as we said, it's going to be a very important week. Wednesday and Thursday, anything could happen. But which are the levels that you're looking at for the S&P 500?
Right. On the S&P, I would look as 1350 as downside support. I would look now, you know, like 1390, 1400 is going to be resistance. Now, if they come out on Wednesday, the Fed says anything positive, and on Thursday the ECB comes out, all bets are off because they'll take the market higher. And they'll easily push the recent highs of this year of 1425. Again, that being said, though, the market's going to have to dissect what the news actually is what Draghi says, how much you're willing to commit to it, because what does that really say about the state of the crisis? Is it even worse than we suspect? And are they going to throw so much money at it because the fact is it's worse? And so that's going to play into kind of how the market reacts. The initial reaction, though, would certainly be to the upside until people understand kind of what the implications are. So, you know, I think the path of least resistance at the moment is higher. Just based on this. If the market is disappointed and doesn't get what it wants to hear on Wednesday and Thursday, then we could see us test back down to the 1350 level.
We'll see. And what do you say about the Dow Jones that now is back again on 13,000? Of course, it's a psychological level. Right. Doesn't really mean much, right?
No, and that's exactly what it is. It's much more psychological than anything. And so the key is going to be really in the S&P, because don't forget, the Dow, everyone looks at it, but the Dow is representative of only 30 stocks, the 30 industrial stocks in this country. The S&P is a broader measure. It's 500 of the biggest stocks, NASDAQ and listed stocks, different sectors, and so it gives a broader picture of the health of the economy. And so everyone likes to talk about the Dow, but the S&P is the one that they really should be looking at.
No, it's a headline.
It's a headline, exactly right. And don't forget, the Dow, it's an even number, and people will make a lot of that. But the S&P is the one you should look at.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenny, for being with us.
Thank you very much.
E grazie a voi per l'attenzione, come sempre, a domani.